story goes like this. One catastrophic fire consumed the greatest library the ancient world had ever known, and in a single night, humanity lost 1,000 years of scientific and philosophical progress. It is a gripping story. It is also largely a myth, and today, we are going to find out what actually happened. Welcome. Today we are fact-checking one of history's most enduring legends, the destruction of the Library of Alexandria. And I promise you, the true story is stranger, more complex, and in many ways more sobering than anything the myth gives us. Let's start with what the library actually was, because most people get this wrong from the very beginning. The Library of Alexandria was not a public library in any modern sense. It was part of the Mouseion, a royal research institute founded by the Ptolemaic dynasty of Egypt in the late 4th to early 3rd century BCE. Think of it as a combination of think tank, state-funded university, and scholarly residence. Resident thinkers received royal stipends, lived and dined together, and had access to a curated collection of scrolls. Among them were Eratosthenes, who calculated the circumference of the earth with remarkable accuracy, and a scholar named Callimachus, who compiled the Pinakes, the world's very first systematic library catalog, organized by genre and author. Here is the exquisite irony. The Pinakes, the one document that would tell us exactly what the library held, is itself completely lost. The catalog of lost works is among its own casualties. So how did the myth of a single catastrophic fire take hold? A large part of the answer has one name: Carl Sagan. His landmark 1980 television series, Cosmos, featured a moving, elegiac sequence attributing the destruction of Alexandria to a single dramatic event, and it planted that image in the minds of millions of viewers worldwide. The library became a universal symbol, the dream of preserving everything, and the horror of losing it all at once. But here's the thing. There was no single night when all the scrolls burned and civilization stumbled into darkness. What actually happened was a long, messy, multi-century decline. In 145 BCE, Ptolemy VIII expelled foreign scholars during a political dispute, stripping the institution of much of its intellectual life. In 48 BCE, Julius Caesar set fire to ships in the harbor during his Egyptian campaign, and later sources blamed him for burning the library. But careful historical reading suggests the fire reached warehouses near the docks containing stored scrolls, not the main library building. We know this partly because Strabo, writing after Caesar's time, still describes a vibrant scholarly culture in Alexandria. Around 272 CE, fighting in the royal quarter during Emperor Aurelian's war against the Palmyrene queen Zenobia likely caused further damage. In 391 CE, the Serapeum, a temple complex housing what scholars call a daughter library, was demolished during religious conflict. And the widely repeated story that Arab forces under Caliph Umar burned the library in 641 CE, modern historians consider that account complete fiction. It appears centuries after the supposed events in politically motivated sources. By the Arab conquest, the Great Library had already been gone for generations. Now, another common belief, that when Alexandria fell, all ancient knowledge perished with it. Let me be direct, this does not hold up. The great canonical works of ancient civilization, Homer, Plato, Aristotle, Sophocles, Herodotus, Thucydides, these survive not because Alexandria alone preserved them, but because they circulated widely across the Mediterranean and were transmitted through Byzantine manuscript copying, Islamic scholarly traditions, and Western European monasteries. Alexandria was not their only guardian. What was truly lost is something harder to name, but no less significant. Scholars have identified over 700 plays cited or referenced in surviving texts that no longer exist. We have 7 complete plays by Aeschylus out of an estimated 70 to 90. We have 19 by Euripides out of roughly 90. Most of Menander's comedies are simply gone. What perished was the vast secondary layer of ancient intellectual culture, the commentaries, the scholarly monographs, the local Egyptian records, the residue of an extraordinarily sophisticated literary world. That loss is real, but it was not one catastrophe. It was a slow erosion. Which brings us to the biggest myth of all, that losing one institution set humanity back by 1,000 years. Knowledge does not live in buildings. It lives in networks, in scholars who read and teach and copy and argue, in institutions that fund them, in political conditions that make such work possible, and in a culture that values preserving what came before. A library burns in an afternoon. A knowledge tradition dies over generations. Why, then, do we remain so captivated by this story? Because it reflects a very real anxiety. How much of the past is already gone? How fragile is intellectual progress? In 2024, a cyber attack compromised 31 million user records at the Internet Archive, an organization already navigating serious legal and funding crises. The ancient warning turns out to be urgently modern. The infrastructure of collective memory is always more fragile than it appears. The real lesson of the Library of Alexandria is not that one fire erased 1,000 years of progress. The real lesson is that knowledge does not survive automatically. It survives because people choose to copy it, fund it, teach it, and protect it. And when they stop, it disappears not with a dramatic blaze, but with a long and quiet silence. If you found this investigation useful, leave a comment below. What piece of lost ancient knowledge do you most wish had survived? I read every one, and I would love to know.